All right, this is video number 14 in the series. Hopefully you've had a chance to practice up to exercise 65 in Danhauser's first book. Today we're actually going to see our first modulations. They're nothing extraordinary. They go into the keys of A minor and G major, and we don't even see any accidentals. But I'm going to show you a technique for confronting such modulations, actually using the stop method that we've talked about before. I'm also going to talk about the use of subdivisions for improving the accuracy of your dotted note values, which can often be a problem for instrumentalists or people beginning at solfège. But before that, of course, we're going to get to some exercises in Dandelot's book, this time in triplet notation. The first exercise we'll look at is number 29. And we're going to take it at a pretty speedy clip. If you find yourself not able to keep up, I hope you can get back on at some point. Use the recovery method we've talked about. All right, let's get to it. So it looks like this. Let's put them in groups of threes, okay? So we're going to put an accent on the first syllable of each group, and we're going to read 3 syllables at a time. Do not read each syllable individually. There's no way you could keep up if you did that. All right, let's go ahead and take it. I'm going to give you a count of 3 this time since it's in triplets, and it's going to be about at this tempo, just to give you an idea. 1, 2, 3, okay? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and we come in on do. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, la, si, do, re, do, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, la, sol, la, si, do, re, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, do, si, do, sol, la, si, do, mi, fa, sol, la, si, la, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, la, si, do, la, sol, fa, re, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Okay, now let's go actually straight to a similar exercise in bass clef and take it at the same tempo. Here it is, number 29 bass clef. Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, mi, fa, sol, la, si, la, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, si, la, fa, sol, la, do, si, la, sol, mi, fa, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, mi, re, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, sol, la, si, do, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, mi, re, do, si, la, sol, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, la, si, do, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Now let's go back to treble clef and do an exercise with leaps, but we'll take this one a little bit slower. Here it is, number 32. Skipped a couple. Okay, here we go. So the tempo in this one's going to be about 1, 2, 3, okay? So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, mi, si, sol, re, la, mi, do, sol, mi, la, mi, si, do, fa, si, mi, la, re, si, fa, do, sol, re, la, re, sol, la, re, sol, mi, si, re, la, mi, re, la, sol, do, re, sol, si, mi, la, re, sol, mi, do, sol, la, re, sol, si, fa, mi, re, do, sol, fa, mi, do, sol, re, la, si, sol, do, re, la, sol, do, sol, re, do, sol, la, re, mi. And back to bass clef for a similar type exercise. 1, 2, 3, do, sol, mi, fa, do, la, si, re, sol, mi, la, re, sol, fa, do, si, mi, la, re, sol, mi, do, sol, re, la, mi, re, fa, si, mi, la, re, sol, do, fa, do, sol, re, la, si, mi, la, re, sol, do, sol, fa, mi, si, sol, fa, la, re, sol, do, sol, do, la, mi, si, fa, do, sol, la, re, sol, do, fa, si, mi, la, mi, re, la, mi, fa, si, mi, la, re, sol, re, do. Okay, let's get to a Danhauser exercise. Let's look at number 66. It looks like this. This one probably doesn't need too many grace notes. I'm just going to put one in the third system here. But you can see that this is in common time, 4/4 time, but that the tempo is given at 80 beats per minute for the half note. So in reality, this piece would probably be better off written in cut time. But you sometimes see that, you know. But basically, what we're going to do here, we're going to take it in cut time actually, but we're going to be thinking of the subdivision of the quarter note in order to get these dotted quarter notes really accurate. So I want you to reflect that in your conducting actually, to actually bring in the subdivisions in your conducting in 2-2. So you know your basic 2-2 conducting pattern goes like this. You come down and back up as we've discussed, if I'm mirroring you. Actually, I'm not going to mirror you in this one. I'm going to go ahead and use my right hand. What I want you to do is to reflect the quarter note subdivision in your conducting of the half every time you have a dotted quarter note, and when you don't, to conduct normally. So whenever you have a dotted quarter followed by an eighth, like in the first measure, I want you to go 1 and 2 and then go back to normal when you don't, okay? And that'll help you improve the accuracy of the eighth that follows the dotted quarter, of the whole rhythm really. Because often we have people coming in a little bit too late with the eighth, or a little bit early, making it sound a little bit more like a triplet, or whatever else might happen. But basically this will help you improve your accuracy significantly. So let's go ahead and try this exercise in that way. Every time you have a dotted quarter rhythm, reflect the subdivision of a quarter in your conducting. Okay, so let's warm up the key of C major. Do, mi, sol, la, fa, re, si, do, do. It's going to be our first note. So let's go ahead and do this one. Ready? And do, si, do, re, mi, re, do, si. Do, si, do, re, mi, do, si, do, re, si, do. Sol, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi. Sol, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, la, do, re, mi, do, si. Re, do, si, do, la, si, la, sol. Do, si, do, re, mi, do, si. Do, si, do, re, mi, do, si, do, re, si, do. Like that. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the first example with 16th notes in Danhauser's first book. And it looks like this. I'm going to put in a couple grace notes, just in those two spots. Pretty stepwise motion here for the first exercise with 16th notes. Let's go ahead and do this one. Same key. Do, mi, sol, la, fa, re, si, do. First notes. Mi. Tempo of 63 is about like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I'll give you a count of, I'll just give you ready and again and we'll come in. All right? First notes. Mi. Ready and. Mi, fa, sol, la, fa, mi. Re, mi, fa, fa, mi, re. Mi, fa, sol, la, fa, mi. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Re, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si. Do, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si. Do, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Re, mi, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re. Mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi. Fa, sol, la, sol, fa. Mi, sol, fa, mi, re. Re, mi, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re. Mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi. Fa, sol, la, sol, fa. Mi, sol, fa, mi, re. Mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi. Re, mi, fa, fa, mi, re. Mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Re, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si. Do, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si. Do, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Okay, let's move on to the very next example, which is the first time that we are actually going to see a modulation, exciting, in Danhauser's first book. Let's look at it. And it looks like this. So you can see in the second system, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the places where these modulations take place, or actually where the sections that are in another key, basically. So we can see in the second system, I've highlighted it kind of in yellowish orange. That part is actually in A minor. And the third system and part of the fourth system that I've highlighted in blue is actually in G major. So I'm going to do something I haven't usually done with this exercise. I'm actually going to do it in stop method. It's difficult to work with other people doing the stop method because you might be stopping in different places. But just try to bear with me and do what I do. Basically what I'm going to do is try to do a warm-up for the key of A minor before I commence with the second system, and a warm-up for the key of G major before I commence with the third system. So let's take a look at actually what those warm-ups will look like. So the first one in A minor looks like this. La, do, mi, fa, re, si, sol, la. Basically using the harmonic minor scale. And the one in G major looks like this. Sol, si, re, mi, do, la, fa, sol. So we're going to use these warm-ups once we get to those points. And then I'll give you a ready and again, and we'll go ahead and sing the systems. One other thing, this says at the top that the quarter note's supposed to be 112 beats per minute. I think that that's probably a mistake. Maybe that's supposed to be an eighth note or something, because that would be a little bit fast for the 16th notes on the second exercise with 16th notes. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this exercise is actually 56 beats per minute for the quarter note, and that's what we'll take it at, which is about like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's warm up to the key of C major one time before we do this. Do, mi, sol, la, fa, re, si, do, do is our first note. Okay, here we go. Ready, and. Do, si, re, do, la, la, si, do, re, do, si, re, do. Stop. La, do, mi, fa, re, si, sol, la. So first note's mi, ready, and. Mi, re, do, si, la, mi, re, do, mi, la. Do, re, do, si, la. Stop. Sol, si, re, mi, do, la, fa, sol. First note's re, ready, and. Re, do, si, la, sol, re, do, si, sol, re, sol. Si, do, si, la, sol, si, mi, re, mi, re, do, si, re, sol. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi, sol, do, la, re, do, si, la, sol. Do, si, re, do, la, si, do, re, do, si, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, sol, fa, mi, do, sol, si, do. So you can do that type of thing anytime you confront a modulation. Like I said in the intro to this video, we didn't see any accidentals there, but it's pretty clear that we saw a modulation, and we actually saw an F natural. We saw a natural sign that signaled that the author is implying that there was a modulation that took place, and you can hear it as well. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one, which is in 3/4. And when you're conducting this one, I want you to do the same thing we did for the other exercise with dotted note values to reflect the subdivision in your conducting. So this time we'll be conducting 3/4. I'm not mirroring you this time. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. But every time you have a dotted eighth with a followed by a 16th note, I want you to go 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? Try it. The exercise looks like this. I'm actually not going to put in any grace notes in this one. Instead, I'm going to highlight a couple measures. Let's look at them. See those measures? And let's just go ahead and practice those measures before we try this piece. So the third measure in the first system, we have mi, si, do, si, la, re, do. So do's do. So the mi is mi. Then the si, si, do, si, la, re, do. Just to familiarize our ears with it. And so mi, si, do, si, la, re, do. And then we have in the first measure of the second system, mi, do, si, re, do, la, sol. Okay. And we have in the second to last measure of the third system, mi, si, do, si, la, re, do. And in the fourth system, we have in that first highlighted measure, la, re, do, mi, re, si, do, followed by la, fa, mi, sol, fa, re, do. Really try to take advantage of the pitches attached to the syllables. That's the point, one of the big points of fixed do. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one. So we're warmed up to the key. Do, mi, sol, do. Don't forget to reflect those subdivisions in your conducting to make sure that you get your dotted eighths followed by sixteenths more accurate. So we're going to take it at the tempo indicated, which is 60 beats per minute. And that's going to be about like this. 1, 2, 3. You can see that Danhauser's actually indicated the speed of the eighth note, which should be some clue to us that he is also trying to get us to think in subdivisions of the main unit in the meter. Ready, and. Do, sol, do, re, sol, re, mi, si, do, si, la, re, do, si, do, sol, do, re, sol, re, mi, do, si, re, do, la, sol, re, do, si, la, sol, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, mi, sol, re. Re, do, si, la, sol, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, mi, sol, re. Do, do, re, sol, re, mi, si, la, re, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, la, sol, do, mi, do, re, si, do, la, re, do, mi, re, si, do, la, fa, mi, sol, fa, re, do. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope that's been helpful. Next time we're going to get to a couple of new meters, 3/8 and 6/8. And also we'll conclude next time with an example with triplets. So until next time, happy sight singing.